the recording again. Everyone's going to be coming back in just a few minutes. We just closed the meeting. There's the timer. Oops, I think
Melody, you're awesome.
I apologize. I think I cut you guys off about 30 seconds sooner than I planned. I really apologize. But I hope that you had at least a moment of that experience, and you stepped into the future and you felt that, what it's like to be in that optimal future. And I'd love to have, at this point, I'd like to open it up and let a few people share kind of what was your experience. There's a couple things if you're willing to share. You don't have to, but we have enough time for a couple of people to share what was maybe your biggest win, what was maybe your obstacle that you overcame, how do you overcome it, and maybe where did you grow the most, or anything. What was your experience? What showed up for you? Did anything show up for you? So let's just open it up and just let a couple people share. I see Dee raised her hand. Go ahead, Dee.
What appeared for me, Greg, is the balance that I now have in my life. When I was working full-time in medicine, I saw myself coming and going. I was always working. And even when I was home with my kids, and I had left the office, I was still mentally working. There was never any peace or calm. And what I found with this business, not at the beginning, because at the beginning I ran myself ragged, just like I did when I was working in medicine, but in the last year especially, just, giving myself grace to have that balance, to read a book, not feel guilty, to go to the gym every day. And I love to exercise. I always have, but not to feel guilty. Oh my gosh, by the time I get back, it's 9:30, just to create that space and that joy and those connections with other human beings that oftentimes when you're working full time and you're in that grind, you just don't have time for, or, you don't make time for. So realizing, really the gratitude that I have for my team and my clients and the work that I'm doing, the wonderful work that we're able to accomplish.
Awesome. It sounds like you jumped off that hamster wheel. It sounds like a wonderful, much better view. I have a couple people, Melody and Roy and Judith. So we'll go in that order. Melody first. Do you know how to unmute yourself, Melody?
I am unmuted.
Go ahead and share, would you?
So what I found really cool is as I'm sitting there doing the voice recording and as I'm looking at the questions and everything that I'm supposed to ask myself, at first I was doing it by myself, but just going out and just saying like what could totally be possible and catching myself saying it and going, is that going to be really possible? And just going back and thinking, wow, I'll have this recorded and I can go back and listen to it on January 1st of 2019. And I don't know, just kind of thinking that, I don't know, I guess it's hard to believe sometimes, but when you say it out loud, I guess it kind of puts like the work into perspective of what I really need to do to get there.
It does. And you know what else it does? In my mind, it's like a spiritual bookmark. It's like when you pin something on your map and you put a pin in it, and then you can find it anytime you want. Kind of what you did is spiritually, you went into the future and you planted a flag, you planted a pin and said, this is what I want. And now, as you stretch back to today, you can feel the tension because you know it's going to take work, but you've also been there and you know how it feels and you know what it looks like and you know what the impact is going to be. And so now you'll always know how to get there. You'll always have like a true north to guide you there. You'll know when you're off track and you'll know when you're on track. And just to answer your question, Melody, we're going to talk a little bit about the timing. In just a minute, we're going to talk about the timing because some of the goals might be a 1-year goal. Some of them might have slipped out like a 4-year goal or a 3-year goal. And that's okay because, even though it's not on the right time, you can still get there. So thank you for sharing. Roy, did you have something you'd like to share?
Yeah, I lost my power for a little while, so I'm sorry. I'm now on my iPad 3G, but I remember back in 1982 where I went on a company contest. I used to deal with a company from Utah, and they're in 12 states, and we had a contest, go Nassau, Bahamas, and I used the concepts you talked about tonight, also with a goal board, and I won the contest, and there was over 400 or 500 agents in 12 states, and my wife and I was able to get a nice round trip, free trip to Nassau, Bahamas, brand new hotel, and I'm tickled to see Dr. Garcia because she's one of my idols. Thank you very much. But we enjoyed. I started off my journey at 383.3, and on Friday I'm at 328.4. So I'm very excited. Thank you.
I love it. And yeah, you know this works because you've done it. Many people have done this exercise before, know it works. Thank you for sharing. Judith, did you like to share something real quick?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I have written my book, and it is done and edited and published for 2018. And I am very proud. My family's very proud. And that makes me extremely happy. I am a very family-oriented person. My niece happens to be my coach. In fact, she was the one that asked you the question, Stephanie. And I love this program. I have been on it for about 5 years, off and on. And I have been fighting, I've been fighting the battle of the bulge since I came out of the womb, fighting and screaming, yelling, give me more. And I have been making progress towards behavior change. I realize that it is a slow, deliberate thing. And these goals, I wrote goals for 40 years. I'm a teacher, a special ed teacher, and I had IEPs. So I know what measurable goals are.
Good for you.
And
Can I ask you a question real quick?
yes.
Your energy has shifted. When you started out telling us you'd finished your book, you were
Yes.
published, your energy was very high and very clear because you were in the future, right?
Yes.
And then your conversation switched to your journey from the past.
Yes.
Did you notice your energy drop?
No.
Did anyone else notice her energy drop?
Yes.
So I want to compliment you on the fact that you started off doing it exactly right. And you started by being in the moment, in the future. But it's very common for us, and you just did a great job of role modeling it. It's very common for people to slip into the past. So just for this exercise, when you keep doing this, because we're all going to keep working on this, we're going to refine our goals. We're not done. This is just a small little experience of this process, right? We have to go and complete the worksheets. But if you can remember to stay in that future, you sounded so clean, so excited, so pure when you were talking about your that's where you want to stay,
Yes.
okay?
Okay. And I have something else in the future. I've taken 3 trips that were fantastic to Alaska, New York, and San Francisco, and they were the bomb.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. I thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, we're going to go back and we're going to just kind of bring it home now. We're going to bring this this process home. So we did the group debrief. The next step is you take that recording and you play it back and you write down on the worksheet, on this worksheet, you write it all out. And just write as much as you can. Make 2 or 3 copies of this thing if you have to. But write down anything that inspires you. If there's something that you don't want, take it off. And as you're doing that, make a note if any of those goals are beyond 1 year. But what I want you to do is I want you to highlight or use a marker or circle the top 3 1-year goals in each area. The top 3 healthy body goals, the top 3 healthy mind goals, and the top 3 healthy finance goals. And this is your chance to refine them and really make them in your words and really wordsmith them. And you want to make it clear and compelling specific, measurable, all those things. And if you had any big goals, I think Melody mentioned, having some big goals. If you have any big, hairy, audacious goals, this is one of my goals. This is not this year. This is not 2018. This is like 5 years. But I can see Whitney and I walking out on stage in this stadium celebrating the launch of our biggest European tour of Optavia. Now that's a big, hairy, audacious goal. It's not going to happen in 2018. But if you do want to have extra credit, and I think you should, because I did say you want to have a longer term goal than just 1 year, extra credit is what Roy was talking about. Make that vision board. Take the extra step. And I'm warning you, if you do this, you better be careful, because you better make sure you ask for what you want, because you're going to be surprised at how you attract into your life what you put on your vision board. And post that vision board somewhere where you can see it often, and share it with your family, share it with your team, and be inspired by it. Okay, so just to kind of wrap this up, and then we'll take one last moment for a few questions. If you're a guest, if you're not a coach, if you're their client or a guest, here are your homework, your action. Complete the worksheet, because I know we didn't go through all of it. Share with your coach, or find an accountability buddy. Share your goals. Get somebody else who believes in you, who's running in the same direction that you are. They're trying to get healthy. They're trying to design their optimal life. Get in partnership with someone. Create your accountability rhythm. Put it in your calendar. Put your vacation in there. Put your quarterly review in your calendar. Put your monthly review. I do it. Basically what we do is we do January, at the end of March. At the end of every quarter, we do a 3-month review. And at the end of every month, we do a monthly review. So put that on your calendar and get your daily commitments going. And then have fun and make it a game. Life is a game. Make it fun. For the coaches out there, kind of the same process. Complete your worksheet. You have one extra step. You have a map. We all have our monthly action plan is what we call it. So for coaches, make sure you get your action plan done, your map. Put your accountability rhythm in your calendar. Check in with your mentorship and your buddy, whatever it is, daily, weekly, monthly. Get into your routine. And again, have fun and make it a game. And as we kind of close this, we've talked a lot about time. We've talked about life. I see time and life as the same thing. Time and life are the same to me. Every day you get 1,400 minutes. What you do with them is up to you. And time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. And once you've lost it, you can never get it back. And we've all lost people that we love. And I just had my grandpa pass away. And, sometimes you have somebody that you love that leaves us, and it makes you think about your life. It makes you think about your own mortality. And I just want to encourage everyone to be the CEO of your own life. Take a hold of the steering wheel. Drive your own ship. Design your own future. Create your own lifestyle, and organize your life around what matters most to you. So with that said, I'm going to say open it up for like a couple minutes if there's any questions. I think what I'll do is I'll stop the recording and call it a night and say thank you guys for joining us. I really appreciate your participation. I hope you got some value from this. This is really one of my favorite things to do. And if you don't have Accountability Buddy, go back to our Facebook event page and post in there that you're looking for a buddy. We'll match you up with somebody. We'll find somebody to connect you with. And I'll just close the recording, and then I'll just